is OKC known for in their team build philosophy? Doing it a year early, not a year too late. They got off Russell Westbrook.
I don't know
year
how
early, not year too late.
Well, they were known for that. I'm just not.
I mean, the Russell Westbrook said it played like 3 seasons.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I didn't know. I'm just not tapped in.
I didn't realize that was their tactics.
I don't think so either.
But he's about to explain it. They got
the New Patriots. I know that.
I'm about to say I knew that's what the Patriots.
Russell Westbrook, Paul George. Like right before these guys started to go the other way.
I think Paul
George is not part of that, brother.
Paul
George told them he was staying, and then he left. That's exactly what happened.
They traded him.
No.
Yeah, because he wanted to be traded.
They didn't trade him because a year too early. He said, "Good brother, I'm leaving." That's what he said.
Also, Russ had two more years before he kind of took a turn.
Paul George took an extension, right? They didn't have to trade him.
No,
they chose. To
trade he wanted to be traded.
Yeah, I understand.
He wanted to go to Los Angeles.
Yeah. Okay. When Paul George was made available in a trade, it was largely because Kawhi had the Clippers by the balls and basically told them, go get this guy at whatever cost. They don't want to trade Paul George. But when that offer came in, they said, okay, he ain't going to exceed this offer. So they sold. They sold high.
No,
but
I
that
think
wouldn't be
when
them
that
being.
Offer came in, Paul George told them
they were fully under a Jordan, and you can attest to this because you remember they were in March.
Yeah, because I was there. No, I was actually there, but it's okay.
The birthday party, was it a birthday party with Russ? They said like
they were at an event. Yeah,
I'm saying we locked in, twin. Like we here. It was like me and Damo. Like we had a long-term partnership. Nobody's gonna separate us. And then 2 weeks later, hey bro,
I'm out here.
You better send me out. Because I will not be playing here anymore. That's exactly
you know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth though, because you know, Paul George is my cousin now, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the truth.
My cousin too, bro. Shout out.
No, he really is my cousin. I don't know about you, Swiper, but I will say this: in the summer, y'all remember that summer? It was talks about is Paul George going to the Lakers? Is Paul George going to the Rockets? Is Paul George going here? Clippers wasn't in here at all. It was the Lakers, I think the Rockets, and maybe one other team. And
this is the summer of 19, is that correct?
Yeah, and obviously
summer of 19.
That was the talk. And then to Swiper's point, the event happened at with Russell Westbrook, and then he was saying, he was saying, or whatever the case it may be. And then 12 o'clock comes at night during the summer league. Boom. Kawhi Leonard talks of coming to LA. Mind you, I was in LA the whole time when the Clippers was kind of courting Jimmy Butler. They were courting Kawhi Leonard. They were doing all kind of stuff, making some noise, right? Kawhi gets the win that, this is what they can do. Team wasn't good enough. Go get Paul George. They get Paul on the phone, tell him the plan. Paul George immediately says, I'm in. He didn't give a shit about what the Thunder was in or out on. He didn't give a shit. That was solely based on
what part of this is hard to understand? Paul George was coming off a season where he finished top 3 in MVP voting. It is arguably his best season ever.
Right.
Okay. When they came to the Thunder and said, we want Paul George, the Thunder said, go kick rocks. We're not trading him.
And then they asked Paul George.
It doesn't matter what Paul George wants. He's not a free agent.
Paul George got what he wanted, though.
He wasn't a free agent. He had a contract.
Yeah, but
that's why you had to add Shai and all those picks.
When Giannis gets traded, are we saying because the Bucks got off him a year early?
Giannis ain't getting traded.
Okay.
If they didn't want to trade him, so Pin, if they didn't want to trade him, why did they trade him?
Because the OKC Thunder are not stupid and they see the value being offered in the trade. Jordan, your favorite player is okay. Who's your favorite young player? Yo, you're a Houston Rockets fan, right? You're a Houston Rockets fan? Okay,
NBA
cool.
fan, but sure.
I mean,
nice hat.
Yeah, I'm about to say something. Nice hat.
A lot of hats.
Okay,
no big deal.
My point is, if at some point a team had come to you with the James Harden trade in 2018, right when he was
the Rockets didn't want to trade him,
correct? But if a team had offered you Giannis Antetokounmpo and 6 first-round picks, or if at that time they had offered you, I don't know, whatever the next version of a star coming up was, and 6 first-round picks and good players coming back, you might have had to take that deal. At that point, you would be exiting early off his prime.
I feel like this.
You can't say something on here without getting pressed. That's cool.
With what you're saying, and Penn,
you gotta be accountable for what you say, though. Like if you say
no
something,
doubt about that.
But what I said was true.
You can't say the philosophy was get off players 1 year early. Use Paul George as the example when he asked to leave.
And
And
then
then
the
on top
second
of that,
example was Russell Westbrook.
getting
When
off
Russell
of
Westbrook
him
And then
is
had
part
Ricardo
of
saying,
this.
saying OKC actually
Bro,
didn't want to get off
Okay,
Paul George,
what
which means that
part
their
of
whole
this?
philosophy
Okay,
of
I
one
feel
year
like
early actually wasn't
am I
true.
speaking a different
That's what I'm
language? Am I
saying.
speaking Mandarin or something?
I
They
could
didn't
understand
have
what
to
you're
I
saying.
speak some
trade
Mandarin,
him.
you know.
Yo, they didn't have to trade him.
Yeah.
They did not
Here's
have
the
to trade him.
But they did.
No. They
Yeah, and
here's
by
the
your own
difference, though.
admission, they
What?
didn't want to.
But here's the difference though, Penn. The difference is that what you're telling us is in hindsight, like this was a great deal. This wasn't a great deal at the time. Like we ain't know Shea was going to turn into this.
Bro,
we
they
didn't
got-
know that.
but
It was
chill,
a
they got
great
Shea,
deal
they
at
got
the
Shea,
time,
Yeah,
Chill.
We didn't
I
know
knew
that.
Shea was turning
They got
No,
into
Shea,
chill, hold up.
Gallinari, 5 first-round picks. So this is 21, 22,
Oh,
24, and
man.
26 unprotected. Plus for
Sure.
Miami's 2023 and 2 pick swaps in 23 and 25.
Sure.
That they
Because
got
the Clippers
7
thought that they were going to
picks.
be awesome.
And then they had
Yo.
to trade Russell Westbrook
Chill.
after that.
Lawrence Frank had
Sure.
such a difficult time selling this deal to ownership. He went to ownership, Steve Ballmer, and he said, "Listen, this is the offer we pitched them. They told us to kick rocks. This was our
Mhm.
counter offer. They told us to go fly a kite.
Kick
Then
rocks
we
again.
upped it to this level where we are willing to offer this. We were trying to keep Shea out of the deal, but we're going to offer Shea as well." And Steve Ballmer said, "Whew, that's steep." And he said, "Don't think of it as this for Paul George. Think of this as this is for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard." So basically, the OKC Thunder exited high on a stock that they expected to perform well for the next couple of years, but did
Which
not
it did.
expect to, but did not expect for that price to be available again. That's called exiting a stock high. Okay, when you
So
exit
high,
a
right.
stock
Yeah, you
higher
so
than
you
the
so
market
high.
value, you sell before it crashes. So they
Right.
got out when the value was still high, as
But I
opposed
also-
to
Yeah, but
riding
what
it
that has
out.
to do with their
Riding it
philosophy,
out.
though, that you
Listen,
said, though?
Paul
That don't
George's
have nothing to
value
do
was
with their
not going to be
philosophy.
higher the next year. I'm sorry. He was exiting the absolute peak years of his career. He was
Sure.
coming off an
Mhm.
absolute incredible year. The
He was
Thunder were
28.
okay.
He's still in
When
his
do
prime.
players typically peak?
Yeah.
Swipe
At
around that
28.
time. Around that time. Between
26 to
27 and
28 is around
I was
when
thinking
players
27
peak.
to
Yes.
29. That's what I was thinking. 27 to 29.
Yeah, but what
around
if he
that
would
time.
have played as good as that for like 3 or 4 more years?
You're still not going to get the value of 200% overpay. That's what the Clippers did. They 200% overpaid for what they were getting because they thought they can
Not
get
really.
Kawhi Leonard.
Not really. You
Okay.
saying that?
I
you
mean, no,
saying that
it
now-
was a lot. It was a lot,
Yeah,
Jordan.
but you saying that now because Shea
Yeah.
became what he was.
No.
Like
Yeah.
Shea did not
You
have to
say that
become what
now-
he became for that
yes, he
to be a
did.
crazy
Like,
overpay.
Yes, he
hold
did,
on.
No,
First of
Shea
all,
just had to be a good player.
Fir-
He could be
first of all-
6-time All-Star and that still would have worked.
no.
That's not a
first
good
of
player.
all-
That's
first
an
of all,
elite
I'm not
player.
gonna lie, even a
Okay, he could have been a
All-Star
2-time
Yeah,
All-Star
that's a-
and it still
Has
would
Shea
have been a
made the
good
All-Star
deal.
game
Chill.
6 times yet? I don't think so.
no,
Three?
but
Four?
hold on, because
Four,
what
maybe?
Penn is saying is like it's like they got rid of Gallinari, who barely played. Like
What?
Gallinari,
Well, Gallo was cold. He was still good at that time, bro.
yeah, he was good, but he was hurt.
Barely
Like,
played.
Gallo had a lot of injuries. I know his last year with the Clippers, he kind of stayed healthy, but before that,
Yep.
Gallo had a lot of injuries. Like that's just what it was. He
That's
got hurt
true.
after they traded him. Shit.
Paul George didn't have injuries.
I mean,
Bro,
not off the
I'm
come.
Not like
broken
not
leg.
not to the
MVP,
extent that he
that's
had him
that season.
previously.
A broken leg from 2014 and a
Like,
round.
I was
sure.
gonna say, he was dealing with a
Bringing
shoulder
up
problem.
Gallo's
Years
entire
later.
injury history. Let's talk about it. I'm talking
Yes,
about the
but-
year
but-
that they just
but-
had.
but we
Look, man,
can't-
the Clippers were coming off a
but
pretty
at the
good year.
same time, you can't compare Gallo and Paul George. Like, dude, at that time, the gap is like this between them two. You don't even see my hand. Like, you don't
Yeah.
see my hand. But at the end of the day, I'm saying what the Clippers gave up at the time wasn't an oversell. Like, it was not
Yes,
an
it
oversell.
was.
It was like they getting Paul George
You
in
can
a
say it. You can say it over
Especially
and over.
at
It's
that
not going to
time.
make it not
at
true.
that time.
Well, George,
I
Like,
do
here we
understand
go.
what I do understand the point that you're making, Penn. I do understand the point that you're making, but if I'm selling high, right? I'm selling high.
Go look at the
Off the
trade
strength of-
coverage, Chill. Go look at what people said about the trade right
Right,
now.
right,
I'm not
right,
making
right.
it up.
No, I get that. I definitely
They
get
said it
what
was
you're
a
saying.
fantastic trade for the Clippers.
Right. I get
No,
what
they
you're saying,
didn't.
Penn.
The
But
Clippers
here's
instantly
the thing,
became one of the favorites after the trade.
thing that-
Because they got
thing that-
Kawhi.
The divide.
And
between-
Paul
the
George.
Yes, and
But
you
the-
have to make that trade at that
The
time.
Thunder
If
did
you
not have to
don't-
give up
if you
Kawhi,
don't
dude.
Make that trade at
What
that
part
time.
do
You're
you not
getting fired.
understand?
I'm not going to argue that point. I'm not going to argue that point.
I don't
But I
understand
feel like
any of your part.
feel like
I don't
a lot of
understand
this-
any of it because it
Okay,
don't make
listen to
sense.
me.
I
Listen
wouldn't
to me.
originally.
Okay, when I'm saying this, Kawhi Leonard was only willing to go to LA if they could find a second star. Do we agree on that? The
Right.
Thunder had to complete their portion of the deal when the Toronto Raptors, who were already involuntarily completing the first part of the deal, i.e., letting Kawhi Leonard go because they couldn't sign him. So technically, if you're the OKC Thunder, you're extracting the value of not only Paul George but also Kawhi Leonard. But there's a nice little caveat here. Kawhi Leonard doesn't play for your team. So the Clippers are selling it to their fan base that, hey, we're getting rid of all this, but we're getting Kawhi and Paul George. But the Thunder are not, they don't have Kawhi Leonard. Does this make sense? Like, am I losing my mind here?
No, Pen. It does.
What
make
you're
sense.
saying don't make sense. You're just talking in circles.
No,
Like, you're not making
no.
any correlation to
be
your
honest
point.
with you, Drench.
Okay,
It
cool,
actually does make sense. But here's the problem.
Not
though, Pen.
really.
What, hear me out though, Jordan. The reason why it makes sense. The reason why it makes sense is Pen. The reason why it makes sense is
what does that mean?
The reason why it makes sense, Pen, is
Calm
because
down.
those trades, because those draft picks worked out. Like if those draft picks don't hit, then it doesn't make sense.
Chill. We
At
don't
all.
get to do that. We talk about deals in the
That's
moment.
what you're doing,
They
though.
overpaid. They
In the
overpaid.
moment, they did not.
Okay,
But I
Jordan?
think, but Penn, I will
They
say
overpaid. Their front office knows they overpaid. The entire league knows they overpaid. I know they overpaid. You know they overpaid. Everyone in the chat knows they overpaid. And the only reason that the overpay worked out okay for them is they got Kawhi Leonard too.
no, but hold on, but Penn, but Jordan, I think to Jordan's point, and I think what needs to be corrected in your language here.
Paul George is
They weren't
first round picks. Okay.
They no. I think Penn, this is what I'm saying. Just listening a little bit. They weren't getting Kawhi if they didn't make the trade. The trade was made for Kawhi and
Paul George.
That was the trade. Kawhi literally said to them, "I'm not coming." Because remember, at the time, Penn, I'm not coming. Jordan, I'm going to LA with the Lakers because they had LeBron and AD, and nobody else on the roster was signed at the time.
Swiper. This is a better question to ask Penn,
Go
since you said they overpaid. What would have been an appropriate value for that trade then?
3 less first round picks.
Oh my God! See, that's
For
what I'm saying.
Paul
This is
George?
exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm
What
saying.
the hell do you think Paul George
No, but it's
is?
not-
3 less first round picks.
At that time,
This is so crazy. This is so crazy.
Damo,
This is so
go ahead.
crazy.
Go ahead, Damo.
2019.
Please, because it's
Oh,
like
double.
no one's willing to listen to each other. Everyone's waiting to talk. This is insane. Look at it as a 3-team trade, if anything. Also, in the moment, y'all are both right. It was split. The crowd of people that didn't really care about draft picks or value draft picks and seeing what the Clippers were trying to do said it was a great trade, a generational trade. It was a transcendent trade, a trade to put them on path to do everything. People that cared about draft picks, people that knew about holding and maintaining your future because you never knew what happened, whatever at the time, said it was a horrible trade. You gave up so many things for, again, Paul George. People, you did have the crowd of people that understood it was a 3-team trade, but in reality, it was for Paul George. There were that crowd of people with Penn's thinking. There were also the crowd of people with Drench's thinking. Can we please find the common ground and move on to a better argument? We are arguing, y'all are arguing in circles for no reason.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the chat throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops all hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.